Feels pretty good to be back. I decided it was, I guess, the right timing for me to make another video. And what this one's gonna be about is basically letting you know that your temptations will never disappear. But even so, one thing that I can say for sure is that over time, so long as you truly put both feet forward. Oh, 1 second. The light just disappeared. Give me a minute. Let's do this real quick. Apologies. There we go. But yeah, like I said, also, how do you guys like the cut? I look, you like it. But anyways, aside from that, what I wanted to say was that your temptations won't disappear. Although the one thing that will change within time, as long as you apply the proper effort and discipline, is your resistance to them. And eventually you get to a point in which you won't become a slave to them. And that's one of the things that I feel really separates me from most people my age. As you know, I'm 20 years old. And if you didn't know, now you know. But the people around me, they're all enthralled when it comes to casual sex, alcohol, partying, even video games, things of that nature. And I realize that a lot of it does have to do with, I guess, perspective, because depending on how you look at things the way in which you look at things will dictate how you, I guess, act towards them. And I understand that my, I guess, perception of said temptations is completely different. And it's not as if I don't have them or if they're completely nullified, but what I do know is that I've gotten to a point in which I can easily overcome them. It's like I can stare them in their face and act as if they weren't there, you know? Or as if they had no power over me. Matter of fact, even I could act as if I'm getting empowered just by coming face to face with them, you know what I mean? And it's honestly, I feel as though it isn't necessarily a hard thing to, I guess, combat after a certain point, especially since I was on a, I guess you could say, celibacy streak for a very, very long time, years. And it's crazy because I'm young, obviously. And then on top of that, I had broke it. Mainly for, I guess you could say, experimental purposes, but it wasn't in a way in which, like, I guess, got overtaken by temptation. Although, I guess, in a way, I did kind of give in to temptation. But it was less of a tempting kind of thing and more of a, I want to know what I haven't experienced yet kind of thing. Basically to kind of broaden my horizon so I could truly understand certain people and I guess their vices. And I did understand it. And another thing that I understood is that, I guess, from a mental perspective, I'm completely, not completely, I don't want to say that, because I'm not really that different from anyone, but Some people are attached to, I guess, the feeling of ejaculation, things of that sort. Well, me, I want to make sure that when I am undergoing such actions that I have a connection that is very deep and fruitful. Because when I did have sex and broke my celibacy streak and whatnot, I felt like I was dead. It was terrible. I mean, it wasn't like terrible, but it wasn't at all what I know it should have been or what it could have been. And from that point forward, like, it really helped me, I guess, solidify my will on those types of things, because same thing happened when I tried alcohol. I was like, oh, what the fuck? It was like, now I understand why people are getting so attached to this. Because like with alcohol in that case, you can't, I guess you kind of, it feels as if you're losing a part of yourself. Almost like you're running away from yourself, if that makes any sense. Like your anxiety that you built upon yourself because you decided not to handle your trauma, that disappears. So you kind of become a false version of yourself. An unauthentic version of yourself. That's one thing. And then with weed, I can understand why people, I guess, get addicted to that. But me personally, no. I feel as if when I take weed, or when there was a point in which I did, because I don't, it's not for me. It kind of slows me down. It mellows you out. And for me personally, it made me feel stupid, like slow. Of course, mentally I was there, but my actions, not really. I was slow. I could easily laugh, and it's like, it's weird because you feel high but very low at the exact same time. And a lot of people use that to cure their depression or whatever, and I'm like, dude, you are just running. Like, why would you run when I know that you're capable of facing the things that you've dealt with? And honestly, I just blanked out right now because I was thinking about someone. But it's like, I feel as if trauma can really, and honestly, dude, I'm kind of webbing out into different directions, and I'm gonna get back to the point of temptations in a second. But I feel like trauma can really only lead to growth. And I'm not saying that it's easy to, I guess, handle trauma, but I know that if you can learn to overcome it, you can be stronger. But back to temptations. They'll never disappear. They'll always be there, but I guess how you look at them and how you respond to them can obviously change, so long as you're willing to change. And I know you can get to a point where the temptations literally seem like nothing. They seem like you're just staring at a piece of paper. The compulsory, I guess, feeling that you get when the temptations arise dissipates. And I feel like it's a very great thing. But another thing that I have a feeling that people really fall victim to is, I guess, that need to, I guess, fit in with their environment. Because that's one of the things that really, I guess, shapes people is their environment. And a lot of people have a hard time I guess, reshaping themselves due to how deeply and how firmly they were molded by their environments. But if you can just continuously work at it, you can be who you truly wish to be, you know? And then you won't become a slave to your temptations or the temptations brought upon you by others. Then you'll be your own person. Like me, I observed myself in a certain way. And I was like, wow, this isn't even who I am. This is just me, like, fitting in. This is just me. This is the me that exists around other people as opposed to my most authentic me. And then there's also that underlying fear of, oh, what if they don't like me anymore? But like, truth be told, it doesn't matter if they don't. And like, even if they don't, there's always gonna be somebody else out there that will. And if they were truly your friends, they wouldn't even care. They'd be like, oh, I respect that. And then they'll let you do you without trying to, I guess, pressure you to do what they want. And then from there, it's really just upwards, and you can work past those things. Because you start to really blossom. You're no longer covered in, I guess, the dirt of society and your environment, and instead you're just blooming as, I guess, you were truly intended to bloom as. But before this video gets too long, and before I kind of, I guess, zip to a different point, I'm gonna end it here. And I guess I'm glad to be back.